Good evening. Glad to have everyone here. Like to call to order the October 30th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting. It looks like we have a quorum, and I don't think we have anybody signed up for public comments prior to any public hearings.
And Mr. Halliburton, just for the folks in the audience, what he is referring to are public comments in general. You don't have to sign up to speak at a public hearing that's been advertised. So just to clear up any confusion.
You'll have an opportunity to speak at whichever application you so choose. I think we have a celebrity with us tonight. Mr. David Ives, would you stand up? Yay. Yes, sir. Good to see you. Mr. Ives served this city well and was part of this planning commission as its legal advisor for many years. We spent many nights in here, David. So, yeah.
And most of them are good.
Yes, sir. That's right. The other item I wanted to mention before we started the business part of the meeting was Matthew's going to speak to us a little bit about the census.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Halliburton. Some of you know, some of you may not know, that the city is undergoing a special census right now, and this is different from the federal census that occurs every 10 years. The special census allows us to get an updated population count in between the 10-year federal censuses. And what that means to us is state funding, state per capita funding, is based on our population numbers. And so in a growing community like Murfreesboro, it's very important that we are able to provide the state with an accurate head count of the number of people who reside in the city limits of Murfreesboro. So that helps keep the money in our community that should be allocated based on our population numbers. So usually once or twice every 10 years in the intervening time in between the federal censuses, we conduct a special census, and we are doing this now. So anybody that lives in the city limits, we would encourage to go to murfreesborocensus.com, murfreesborocensus.com, or if you go to the City of Murfreesboro's webpage, there's a pop-up that comes up that has a link which takes you directly to the where you can fill out the names of the people who live in your household. All this is used for is just recording the number of people who live in your household, and it's kept strictly confidential. There's also a flyer on the here in the council chambers that has a QR code that you can scan. So anybody who lives within the city limits, we would encourage you to be counted. It also qualifies you to be in a drawing for a $100 gift card. And anybody who doesn't fill out the form online will then receive a mailer requesting that you complete the census. So we would highly encourage anybody to fill out our census form so we can get an accurate count. Thank you, Ken.
Thanks, Matthew. We'll move on to the business part of the meeting. Do we have a motion, or does anybody have any changes or a motion with respects to approving the minutes of October the 16th?
If there are none, I move for approval.
Second.
Ms. Abelwater?
Aye.
Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Vice Chair Halliburton?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Prince?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
All right, with that, we'll start our public hearings. And just before we start the public hearings, you will be invited to come and speak at the lectern for or against the particular application in question. If you will, any questions or comments that you might have with respects to that application, if you could pose those to the Planning Commission, the cell, or this board versus the applicant. And at the end of the public hearing for that particular application, we will address all those questions at that point in time, meaning we probably will not address your individual question while you're up there, but we will make note of your question and then answer all the questions at the end of the time of the application. We would ask that you speak for no more than 3 minutes so that everybody has an opportunity to speak this evening. And with that, I will turn it over to our speaker here. Oh, okay. First off, I guess I need to, the first item of business is a zoning application to amend the PRD zoning East Castle Manor PRD 2023-411 on approximately 0.15 acres located along East Castle Street with CCO zoning to remain. Nashville Comfort LLC is the applicant. Ms. Smith, sorry about that.
Quite all right. I jumped in too early
Yeah.
last time, and Ms. Jones was kind enough to repeat that before we got started. This particular item shown on your screen is located on East Castle Street, just to the west of University Street on the north side of the street. About a year ago, you all approved a PRD for this particular property to allow for some differences in some side setbacks as well as front setbacks on the property itself, and this was for a duplex on an HPR lot. As the project went forward, there were a couple of hiccups in the building permitting process that caused the build-to line to be set at 40 feet versus the 22 feet that was originally approved in the PRD. So we're working to smooth out some of those glitches, but an amendment is here before you this evening in a public hearing to move that build-to line to the 40 feet, which will allow for 4-car parking in front of the garage instead of the 2-car in front of each of the garages previously, as shown in the above attachment. And you can see the building setback is here about halfway behind the adjacent property versus being in line with it. Staff is supportive of this modification due to some of those glitches in our system, and the applicant is here should you have any questions. And this has been noticed as a public hearing for comments from the public before your vote.
All right. Anybody have any questions before we go to the public hearing? All right. Anyone here that would like to speak for or against this particular application, if you will come forward? Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing and discuss anything the board has with respects to this application or a motion. Does anyone have any comments, or do we have a motion?
I'll move for approval subject to all staff comments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those sorry, go ahead.
Ms. Savelwater?
Aye.
Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Vice Chair Halliburton?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Prince?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
That
Thank you,
passes.
Commission.
The next item of business is a zoning application for approximately 69.1 acres located along Thompson Road to be rezoned from RS-15 to PRD, Salem Landing 3 PRD. Old South Properties is the applicant. Mr. Donovan.
Thank you, Vice Chair Halliburton, members of the Planning Commission. The application before you tonight is from Old South. It is to rezone the subject property from RS-15 to Planned Residential District of Salem Landing 3. The vacant property is approximately 69.1 acres in size and located on the north side of Thompson Road and at the south terminus of Colton Lane. So the adjacent properties around this, the subject property are primarily residential and zoned accordingly. To the north is existing phases of Salem Landing, which are currently zoned RS6, which has a 6,000 square foot lot minimum, while properties to the east, south, and west are all zoned medium density residential and in the unincorporated Rutherford County. The surrounding areas are almost exclusively composed of single-family residents, with Salem Landing to the north being the only property within the current city limits. The borders the subject property. Clear Ridge is a single-family residential subdivision that is just to the west of this property. It is within the county. And then beyond Clear Ridge are the campuses for Rockville Elementary, middle, and high schools. So the Salem Landing 3 PRD is proposed to be 195 single-family residential detached homes that will be completed in 4 phases. Lots within that development will range from 6,500 to there are some lots that are just over 10,000 square feet. All the homes will feature a 1 or 2 story design with front porches, 2-car garages. All homes will be full masonry products with a brick or stone water table on all 4 sides of the property as required in the pattern book. And I'm trying to get down to a layout for you. Access to this site will be to the north to New Salem Highway along Rivermont Way, and to the south Thompson Lane. Staff has also requested there be a stub out for a future right-of-way connection also to the south on Thompson Lane in the event that that's needed. This development also has several amenities within it, including a dog park, a hiking trail, a walking trail that is paved to a pavilion overlook on top of a piece of property that has some topographical constraints, as well as the mail kiosk for the single site delivery for the post office, and then landscape buffer yards are required on all sides with a 2-foot berm being under the type A buffer that is along Thompson Road, and then the type A buffer extends along the remainder of the properties to soften the transition to the county. A homeowners association will also be established to manage the common areas. There are a couple of exceptions to note for the Planning Commission and the PRD. On the 10,000 square foot lots or larger, we would, when you compare it to the RS10 zoning district, you would typically see a 10-foot setback. They're proposing a 5. And then the future land use in this area says 1 to 5 acres with exceptions for cluster development and PRDs, or it lists out RS15, RS12, and RS10 as options. So those are some places where it does have some exceptions to our codes and our land use policy. The future land use map for this area is identified as suburban residential, which supports a density range of 1 to 4 units per acre and recommends RS15, RS12, and RS10 zoning, as well as PRDs for, as I mentioned earlier, cluster developments with smaller lot sizes permitted as long as the overall density is met. So as presented, Salem Landing 3 has a density of 2.83 units per acre, while the proposed density is consistent with the comprehensive recommendation of 1 to 4 units per acre. Incorporating larger lots could help create more seamless transition and better complement the character and context of the larger single-family neighborhoods in the unincorporated county. Planning Commission will need to determine whether the zoning request, in its opinion, is consistent with suburban residential land use character. So before you, I believe Mr. Blomley put on the dais, there is an updated version of the Salem Landing PRD pattern book that we received today. I've had a chance to go through it. If you remember from our meeting a few weeks ago, there were some encouraged improvements from staff. Staff took time to meet with the developer and the development team And I'm going to provide you an update on all of those because almost every one of the items there has had some form of change that is now reflected in the pattern book that you were given, with one minor exception that staff is going to continue to work with on the developer, if this body sees fit. So we were asking for stone as an option on all four sides of the building, which they've updated that in the pattern book. We wanted them to clarify et cetera because we felt that it allowed some masonry products that we may not want to see on residential uses. That's just been completely removed. It's masonry, or brick, stone, cement, fiber are their options, with the water table being brick or stone. We asked them to clarify the natural trail that was presented in the plan. We just didn't want any ambiguity. What they're proposing, and there's a photo in the pattern book, is a dirt trail, much like you would see on a hiking trail within a state park or other natural area, even similar to what is at Barfield Park in the city currently. The Lookout Pavilion has also been increased in size to the 15 by 25. They're going to make it out of a PVC material on the bottom so that the posts are more durable. That's a timber that's clad in a PVC, so it's not just a strictly PVC product. And then the upper soffits are going to be vinyl, a combination of vinyl and hardy products, which staff's comment on this brick and stone was something that was more durable. We felt like if hardy wrapped those, there would be potentially some issues with how it fared long term. And then with regards to the trailhead, where basketball playground, the playground, basketball court, were all proposed. They were proposing 10 spaces. Staff has had, many discussions with them over this. There's 362 existing units in the remainder of Salem Landing in 1 and 2, and then these additional 195. They've upped it to 15 spaces, also provided some bike racks. So they've upped that parking just a tad to help with, what will ultimately be a draw within the development to come to that site. And then staff had also brought up to the board that in consultation with the city traffic engineer, he had identified that a light would be warranted on New Salem Highway at Rivermont Way with this development. We've had many discussions with them. We're going to continue to work with them. Me and Mr. Newman met with the developer. We're going to continue to work, address some language, and end up, I think, with a development agreement that addresses some offsets for that light. And then the final item is adjust the lot sizes to provide a transition to match the character and context of the larger lots in the county. So, where we're at on that is, while it meets the proposed density aligns with our 1 to 4 units per acre recommended in the comprehensive plan, we still believe that it could create a better transition to complement the character and context of the larger lot neighborhoods, but under the future land use plan, that's at the discretion of this body to make that determination if they feel the proposal is appropriate. So since that daytime meeting, we've also held a neighborhood meeting where the applicant met with approximately 16 residents, and city staff was there as well. They explained the project, a brief overview of the project, proposed improvements, including off-site improvements to the road network. And at that meeting, residents expressed concerns related to traffic, school traffic management on Thompson Road, access to Thompson Road from Salem Landing 3, stormwater management, and potential blasting during construction. Staff is supportive of the rezoning request for the following reasons. The PRD zoning is consistent with the future land use map of the comprehensive plan, which supports cluster developments when overall density is met, and the remainder is preserved as common space and open space. The overall density of the site is 2.83 units per acre, and approximately 32.3% is preserved as open space. And the PRD is consistent and of the same quality as the adjacent development of Salem Landing 1 and 2 that are to the north of this. Planning Commission will need to conduct a public hearing on the matter, after which it will need to formulate a recommendation for City Council. And I also know Mr. Chris McGuire, who is the applicant's engineer, is here and has a presentation for the Planning Commission as well.
Wow, he mostly got us covered on that one. I think he hit all the bases. Did provide a quick presentation that will largely quote what he's already gone over.
Chris,
This
if you'll
is-
introduce yourself and
I apologize.
Yeah.
Chris McGuire with Huddleston Steel Engineering.
thank you.
Here representing the project for Old South Properties. As I said, he's done a very good job of explaining the project. This is a continuation of the existing Salem Landing development. It is currently RS-15 in the city, and we are proposing a PUD, or a PRD, excuse me. It's in the SR, Suburban Residential Zoning Area, which he's gone over. We do largely meet the spirit of that future land use. Here's kind of an overview showing the aerial imagery of the site relative to the Salem Landing Section 2 development to the north. In the northeast corner, the portion that appears to be a field, I don't know if you'll be able to see my cursor or not, but in that area is actually currently being developed as Salem Landing Section 2 Phase 2B, and it is also providing a connection to the south, which would be this development. To the west is the Clear Ridge development, which we have a connection to New Salem. And then the Rockvale Middle and High School is to the west as labeled. Our current request is a PRD. It's 195 single-family lots. It's 2.82 units per acre when we include the green space. An HOA is required, as was stated. City trash pickup. We're proposing over 20 acres of green space. We're proposing 2 accesses to the north into Salem Landing Section 2, one to the east onto Thompson Road, and providing right-of-way for future roadway expansions as Thompson Road develops. If the county decides to widen that roadway, that connection can be made in the future. The right-of-way will be there, that they can make that adjustment and help with traffic dispersion. Architecturally, it'll be 1 to 2 story single-family homes. They'll have varied roof lines. They're required to have 24 inches of brick or stone water table on all 4 sides. It's going to be a 1,600 square foot minimum lot size, or home size, excuse me. And all the material will be brick, masonry, and hardy cement fiber siding with vinyl soffits and trim. Here's just an example of one of the homes in the existing development. This development is proposing larger lot sizes than that to the north. Salem Landing Section 1 and 2 is about 6,500 square foot lots, and these are proposed to be everything from 6,500 square foot to 10,000 square foot lots. So it's our attempt to make a transition into the area. Here's another rendering of a potential product type. As far as amenities go, we're proposing a mail kiosk, a basketball court, a playground, 2 walking trails, a disc golf course, a dog park. And here are some pictures of these amenities. And as Richard stated, some of the buffers and the phasing plan. Again, most of this was covered with Richard, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions for the applicant from the board? Thank you, Chris. Appreciate
Thank you all
it.
very much for your
All
time.
right, thank you. All right, With that, we will open the public hearing and allow, if you would like to come at the lectern and speak either for or against this application. One thing I failed to mention in the beginning is when you come to the lectern, if you will state your name and address for the record, we would appreciate it. And we will open the public hearing. Anyone that would like to speak.
Good evening. Jason Makage, 2387 North Road, which is a connecting road to Thompson. I think I speak for myself, people here, and people that aren't. Quite a few concerns with this development. We're going through a census. City of Murfreesboro is growing extremely fast. We can't control the growth. I think we want the growth, but there's a way to do it. And with all these developments, we have this development is in phase 1. They've already started phase 2. You can see the clearing from Thompson. We have the development directly next to the middle school that hasn't even impacted our traffic yet. We don't know what that brings. We are already overrun. The high school has been built for 5 years. We're already overrun. We're rezoning every single year. Where are all these kids when we complete the current development that hasn't even impacted us yet? With their impact of Zone 2 that's not complete, and we're talking about Zone 3 and Zone 4. Not only that I know of, we don't have any more schools being built to accommodate this. Number 2, our traffic. We have tons of other developments that impact Thompson Road and Armstrong Valley and adjacent. When we built the high school 5 years ago, we put a road connecting out of the back of these two, middle school and high school, onto Thompson. With that, we are getting in an extremely amount of high school traffic. North Road, as I like to call it now, that's our drag strip. North Road is straight. You get through 2 S-curves, and I live right after the S-curves, and I've seen them in excess of 100 miles an hour on a double yellow line wide open. I work a Monday through Friday job, and just last year alone, I physically seen multiple car rollovers and accidents on North Road alone, and that's just while I was home before the sun went down. We need, if we're going to allow this growth, which we can't stop, and I'm not saying we need to stop, okay? It's growing fast, but we need to have the infrastructure and the schools built for this before we continue it. We have built 5 or 6 housing developments alone on Armstrong Valley Road and have done nothing with the road. We have 3 or 4 telephone poles that are within less than 3 feet of the edge of the road. One recently in the last 30 to 45 days got hit and taken out and replaced. We have grandfather oaks and tree limbs growing over and beyond the white lines on Armstrong Valley for a good distance before you get to Veterans Parkway that hit your vehicles when you drive down, with ginormous trees within less than 3 feet of the edge of the road. Now, the light that has been placed there has helped, but it is not enough for all the building that we are doing. The traffic analysis that has been done for this development, I'm sure you guys have that, was done on May 8th. May 8th, high school seniors were not in school. They were at MTSU taking finals. Also, may I remind you that May 8th was also the tragic day of the storm that Dr. Sullivan's son drowned. Schools were in full access that day. They did not let out early, but a lot of parents were concerned and they pulled their kids from school. So we did an evaluation on traffic on a day that our seniors, which is most of our traffic and our driving, was not in school. We had a storm day where our parents that still had their kids at school removed them from school. We didn't get a solid evaluation of traffic. But I can attest that my neighbors will attest, and everyone who's not here, this traffic, when school lets out, it dumps onto Thompson with the school. We have a new development. When you say that we're going to put a light in front of this on 99, It's not just the 195 homes that we're projecting here. You got phase 2 and phase 3 that it's going to be much closer to leave out of the back of that development onto Thompson Road than it will be to go to 99, because it's just going to be quicker. So it's not just the 195 proposed, it's also what else is there. And when you talk 195 homes, you're talking about 2 vehicles per. So you're talking about adding multiple hundreds of vehicles onto Thompson and Armstrong Valley that already back up 20, 30 cars when high school's let out. It could take you in an upwards of 20 minutes to get from this gentleman's home in the very first curve on Thompson to the stop sign at Armstrong Valley to be able to go left or right or straight if they're going on Jurgen or whatever they're doing.
So not to interrupt you, but we've got several people who want to speak. We're way over 3 minutes.
That's just fine. I'll be at the next one. So I'm just,
I second the gentleman's argument.
I've done my research and I will continue to these meetings. I'm not here to turn down the building, but if we're going to continue the building, we have to put the infrastructure in place. We have to build the schools. We have to control the traffic, add the stop signs, put in the turning lanes. I mean, Armstrong Valley is a 2-lane road. I've lived here for 15 years and I've owned property here for 20, and Armstrong Valley is the exact same road now as it was 20 years ago, minus the light and the turning lane the little short turning lane we put in front of one development. That's it.
Thank you.
My name is Dave Williams. I live at 2181 Thompson Road. I am the curve on the other side of the drag strip. Every day since I've retired, I work out in my pasture and in my yard. And I see what happens when they go to school and when they come home. And incidentally, I'm not saying just the kids. Don't be mistaken. Teachers, parents, students. I drive a little bitty Honda Fit, and I have been almost around on T-bone going in my driveway because I have the unmitigated gall to do 35 miles per hour on Thompson Road. I encourage any of you who wish to, please come to where I live and watch the exodus of that school when it lets out. And on Sundays, when the neighborhood up the street, when the raceway opens up for them to come out. Thompson Road is a mess because simply there's too much traffic in the way the street is. I'll leave with this. I've lived at 2181 Thompson Road since 1986. When I moved there, it was a small street and could handle that traffic. It can't handle what you're proposing to put here. Concentrated neighborhood subdivisions like this, such a burden on the street. That's it. Oh, incidentally, I've had, in my pasture alone, over the last 4 years, we've had 12 accidents in my pasture. My pasture fence has been broken so many times from people going into it in one section. My wife and I were talking about replacing the fence. Why? Why replace it? In probably December, January, February, they'll be back in there again. Luckily, I have to cut that grass. I have 1,500 feet of frontage. I have to turn my back when I cut my yard, my ditch. And you want to think you take your life in your hands cutting your grass? Try that for a while when you've got them less than 3 feet from you when you're on your tractor cutting your grass. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Catherine Matera. I'm a transplant to Tennessee, 2 years. Love it here. Didn't want to live in the city, wanted to live on the outskirts of town because I'm used to living in a concrete jungle. I don't understand what the concept of putting 4 houses on an acre of land. Is it so you can shake your hand of your neighbor, in your house? I don't understand why we seem to just be wanting to put house after house after house after house. And what it's doing, you're not changing the infrastructure, you're not building on it, there's accidents, there's traffic. In 2 years, the traffic has tripled where I live. And I live on Celis, which is off Thompson. And it's miserable. And everybody complains that there's all these accidents. Armstrong and Thompson, worst accident area ever. Is that going to be changed? Because it's a little bridge that has 2 lanes that is barely enough for 2 cars. There's more animals now in the roads. We're having problems with the blasting of the other plans that they have on the other side of Rockvale School. They've been blasting for almost a year. We had to tell them, don't blast all day. I'm from California. I'm used to earthquakes. It's like an earthquake every day. My foundation's cracked. My brand new driveway's cracked. My patio's cracked. My tile that I just put in. Nobody seems to be concerned. We've complained. So now we're going to have more blasting. We're taking out more of our country, more of our landscape. I mean, what are we trying to accomplish? Are we trying to make this into California? Because the lifestyle, that's what you're asking, is just keep putting more people. It's like putting rats in a cage. More crime, you know? The schools can't do it. I mean, we're already the overflow. What are they going to do with all these kids? There's already like 7,000 kids homeschooled. What if they decided to go to public school? Then what? You're adding, there's 200 on this side, 200 first division, 200 first. How many? How many? You know, our little three street community, the first division that they did, houses were separated, nice division. You weren't like on top of each other. Then ours, little closer. Third one, on top of each other. It's a mess. It's a mess. You're asking for problems. I don't think anybody realizes when you stuff a bunch of people in one area, what that's going to cause. Traffic or otherwise. It's not a good, and if they want to build, let them build a house on an acre. Spread it out. Don't just pack them in there. This isn't what I came here for. Changes the values, changes the outlook, changes everything. You're just asking more people to come in from all over.
Thank you. Can we get I know you said the street.
It's 1127 Celis.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Hello, my name is Katrina Curtis. I live at 2445 Thompson Road. I live in the section where the proposed second outlet is located. And my family, we've lived on Thompson Road and the adjacent road, which is North Road, for over 6 generations. So we have seen, quite a bit of growth over the years. One of my concerns is, why does there have to be a second outlet, and why does it have to be in front of our home or any home? I had some neighbors deal with this situation where we have a subdivision called Pinnacle Hills, and going out of Pinnacle Hills is where they put the outlet right in front of someone's home. So that affects people's quality of life, and they ended up having to move because lights were constantly hitting their bedroom. So I don't want to have to go through that. It's affecting my quality of life. Having the access road, with all the traffic, we can no longer walk. My neighbors used to walk every day, and now they have to go to a park. We can't ride our bikes anymore. It's affecting us. People move to the country for a reason. And also where they're putting the outlet or proposed outlet, it's in a dangerous spot because the way the road is made, it inclines, it goes up. Plus, right before the proposed outlet, there's a deep curve. and towards the evening time, you can't see, the sun is in your eyes. So it's very dangerous. There's all kind of wrecks all the time in the deep curve. So that's one of my concerns. The traffic backs up during the school hours. They've added 4 speed bumps on the access road. They're very high. I mean, if you go past 3 miles an hour, you're gonna tear your car up. My sister-in-law lives next door to me with my brother, and she can't even drive on the road anymore because it scrapes the bottom of her vehicle. And she has a child that goes to Rockville High. So because of that speed, those speed bumps adds a layer of more traffic where it backs up into our homes during the school hours in the mornings and when school lets out, to the point to where we can't even get out of our driveways. So I have to leave at a certain time. If I have an appointment, I have to leave at a certain time just to get there on time because it's just so much, it's a racetrack. You can't even get through. My other concerns, the value of the homes, you know, most of us on Thompson Road live on 5-acre homes. So these smaller lots, is it gonna affect the values of our homes? Are our property values gonna go down? That's a concern I have. And city taxes, are we, you know, is the goal for us to start paying city taxes, or are we exempt from that? So those are my concerns.
Thank you very much, and we will address those questions at the end.
What street did you say you lived on?
Thompson Road.
Thompson, okay.
And where are the speed bumps?
The speed bumps, they're on the access road leading into the high school.
Behind the school right there?
Yeah,
So
it
the
used to
school
be-
built,
That's a, it's a private
Yeah.
road right
the
there.
school built them, is my question, not the county. Okay, got it, thank
And
you.
it used to be like emergency personnel used to drive down that road, like they can't get through anymore because of the high speed bumps. So,
Got it, yes, ma'am.
oh, one other thing, there's a subdivision that's being built right beside the high school. From what I'm being told, they're also building an outlet on Thompson Road. So it just seemed like the goal is to dump all the traffic on Thompson Road instead of focusing on widening the roads on New Salem. But everybody wants to dump the traffic on our country road. So it's just not built for that.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
I will go ahead and clarify that the other development being built on 99 is not exiting onto Thompson Road. I have already checked into that, so that is not happening.
Can you repeat that?
Is my mic on, Tech Crew?
Yes, it is.
Okay. The other development that you're referring to on the other side of the high school, they are not attaching that to Thompson.
Okay.
So just to clarify that and ease concerns.
My name's Kim Jeffcoat. I live at 2871 Thompson Road. I've lived there 15 years, and, you know, right now, for that area, the amount of growth, we have, I don't think anyone said this, but we have 3 communities being built near us that are like in construction. One of them's Pure Dirt. 2 existing communities is Salem Landing. They're all still building there. And so the amount of growth that you're putting on that little neighborhood, and I know that people have brought up the amount of wrecks, but even if you looked up, if there's a way for you to see just in the past 3 years, the amount of wrecks that have been on that road, it's double that because most of them aren't even reported because they just go off into somebody's yard, tear their fence down, tear their mailbox down, and they keep going. So no one has talked about that. But the other thing, if you look, have any of you all actually ever even driven on Thompson Road? Okay, not Thompson Lane. Okay, very rural. And it has 7 huge hairpin, almost where you have to stop to make the curve. The one that is right exactly where you guys are talking about, even thinking about an access road, it has loose gravel and people wreck there all of the time. It's the most dangerous curve on the entire road. And so the idea that you would put some type of access roads on a road, we didn't have any say-so about the access road going to the school, and it backs up both ways on Thompson Road, completely stops traffic altogether, 10 cars deep on each side every morning trying to go to school. So you can't even get out. We have to try to find a different way to go around our own road. So that's my take, and just what I wanted to say. If you're doing a neighborhood of 195 houses, that's going to be 400 cars if people just have 2 cars. It's ridiculous.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm really short. My name is Danielle Massley. I live at 1113 Pinnacle Hills Drive. So like a lot of these people off of Thompson have already said, what are you going to do about our traffic? It is horrible. It's really, really bad, especially whenever school is in accounting for. I was just telling, I don't see him, that man right there, Chris, okay, that, you know, I homeschool my kids, but if I need to leave somewhere and I need to go anywhere, I have to leave at least an hour to an hour and a half, period, if I want to make it. Like my daughters, we attend topology at 4 p.m. on Fridays with 4-H. Do you know what time I have to leave to get there at 4 and I'm still late most of the time? I leave before the high school gets out at 3. And I'm still late because I have to sit in that traffic. And that's not including the times where I've almost been run off the road. My kids, my 2 daughters in the back crying because are we going to die? Are they going to run us off of the road? It's really, really bad. I've called police about it. I've contacted the SRO. Guess what? SRO can't do nothing about it because it doesn't happen on school property. But guess what? Police also don't do nothing about it either because it's not actively happening by the time I get to my place where I can stop and safely call. So what are you going to do? You say that you're going to put a light on Highway 99, but what about a light over on Thompson or anything to alleviate? What about widening that road? Can we have a 3-lane, 4-lane? But then you're taking away from everybody else's home and their lot values. So how are you going to alleviate this problem that we have? Also, as someone else mentioned, you have not mentioned the other 2 developments that are already in progress. You've got one that's on the other, is it on the other side? No, it's before you get to Salem, or if you're leaving our home, leaving the high school, it is before you get to Salem Landing on the other side of Dollar General. There's a subdivision going in there. The subdivision that somebody just asked about, is it connecting to Thompson Lane? It's right at the backside of our subdivision that we constantly feel blasting over. So is there going to be more blasting that happens with this new phase that y'all are going to be doing for Salem Landing? Because we already have damages to our home that that developer does not give a rat's behind about, and it's predominantly all throughout. So are we going to have to deal with more blasting? How much more damages are going to incur to our homes that we are going to have to fix or just let go because we've already maxed out our insurance claims for our homeowners insurance? So what are we going to do? We cannot handle the amount of growth. Can we put a pause on it and assess everything, the whole big picture? Because the big picture doesn't seem like it's being looked at and like it's being considered. We need to look at the whole, not just, can I put 2.83 homes on an acre lot and how much money can I make from those 2.83 homes? Our high school, somebody said, 5 years old, right? Second year, how many portables did we have? Because it was already at capacity, over capacity. They just did an expansion on the elementary school. They expanded the middle school. They're still overflowing. What are you going to do with all those kids? As somebody else said, you know, we have over 7,000 homeschool kids in our community. It's growing. My kids are homeschooled. What if they decided they wanted to go to school?
If you could wrap up.
I am.
Appreciate it.
What if they wanted to go back to school? I know that's not your problem, but you're adding in more people. Let's look at the big picture, not just the small one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, my name's Greg Campanella, 2180 Thompson Road. I live next to that guy, I just found that out. I just moved in a month ago. You guys got a lot to look at. You guys, I'm not gonna add on to everything. I agree with what a lot of the folks had to say tonight. I don't know if I would have bought my home if I knew this. Shame on my realtor and everything like that, but if I had known, like there was construction already going on, like you guys already have. But I don't know if I would have bought my home. So I think you had mentioned property values. Great point. Who's going to buy my house if I want to sell it? You guys going to buy you going to buy my house? Probably not. I don't know, can't say that, but that's a huge concern of mine, being a month into my property. Now I'm stuck. You're gonna widen the road? Probably. Takes away my property, right? So again, I'm not gonna pile on to what's been said. So, I just wanted to a couple questions. We talked about animals before. I like animals, got a dog, we're good. But where are the animals going? Is there any type of environmental study been done on this, what happens there? Like, where do they go? What happens? Have we thought about that? It's just a little bit different point of view from what I'm looking at. And then the area that's being built now. You guys are they all connected? Is that the same people? That it is? Okay. So behind my house, their lots are higher. Where's that water going? It's coming onto my property when it rains, if it ever does rain. It doesn't rain here a lot. But where's that water go? And then what's that do to my property, right? And then a little bit to the left of where they're building now, there's a pond there that's dried up. What happens there? Where does all that go? Where's that, now that water's not going there, where does it go? I'm just a little bit concerned about where I'm at, and I'm not trying to be greedy, just me, not be about me. I know it's everybody, but because I'm backing up to where you guys are building. So you guys are elected officials. I get you have a lot on your plate, and I respect what you guys are doing, and I understand what you have to go through. But I agree with what's happening here, that we need to take a pause and has it been done? I don't know if those studies have been done, those accesses and the traffic patterns and so on and so forth. My guess is we trust you all to do that, and that's been done before these decisions been made. And I don't know when these answers are coming. Again, new to the game here. I don't know if it's coming tonight, in the future, because I got this letter from my neighbor. I didn't even see that.
All the questions that have been said tonight, we'll try to address them as best as possible after this public hearing.
Okay. All right, just trying to get a grasp on what's happening here, because if I don't tell my wife what's happening, I'm in trouble.
Good man.
And she texted me one other question. EPA, no, everything else has been answered. I'm good. But again, I'm concerned because, in all honesty, I love it where I'm at. I do. But knowing what I know now, don't know if I would have purchased that property, and that's a little bit concerning. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Good evening. My name is Amanda Willis. My address is 6130 Gladstone Lane. I've been in Rockville for 10 years. I've only been at that address for about 2 months. And in the 2 months that I've been there, my main concern has been the traffic and our kids. I've got a 14-year-old at the middle school, an 8-year-old at the elementary school. We live 2 minutes from the schools. It does not take us 2 minutes to get to the schools. I know that a lot of this has already been mentioned, but when we try to leave our home in the evenings, talking about 6 o'clock, it takes me 30 minutes to leave. So if I have to go, when I take my son to his scout meeting at 7 p.m., I have to leave the house at 6 o'clock. And more often than not, I'm still late getting there. So he wanted to walk to school. I can't even allow him to walk to school because of how much traffic. I know that there had been, I guess in the past, mentioned that they weren't going to let the buses pick up the kids in the nearby neighborhoods to the schools. I'm glad that didn't pass, but had that passed, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. I have a passion for kids. I see that our schools are very active in the clubs, and that is great because that just means our kids are going to succeed in life, or hopefully. And so to see our kids be put in danger because of all the traffic, we can't even eliminate any of the cars because there's no safe way to eliminate any of the traffic. So, I mean, if we can widen the roads, put in lights, sidewalks, that would be great because that would take away traffic from Thompson Road. I have a lot of friends who live there. I have a lot of families that I'm connected who live on that side of town, and it's just scary to see how fast and how dangerous those roads are. That's really all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak for or against this application?
Good evening. My name is Wes Wyrick. I live at 1102 Carrington Place in the Pinnacle Hill subdivision off of Thompson Road. And many of the concerns that my neighbors here have voiced, very, very true. We deal with it every day. We have children in a private school just down the road off Veterans, and it takes us easily 35 minutes to get from our house to there due to the traffic, because we're going through right at the same time the traffic is coming into the Rockville schools. There's a number of things that have really caused a backup traffic-wise there. One of them, the speed bumps that they put on that access road have slowed everything down terribly. It backs up going, if you're going in or going out, depending on the time of day you're leaving, right around school, it backs up 10, 15 cars deep sometimes. If you're leaving on Thompson, right there at Thompson and Armstrong Valley, to turn left, there's no light or anything, there's just a stop sign. You're probably talking 15, 20 cars deep off of Thompson. And that's right there where one of those access roads you're proposing would potentially be. I'm surprised there haven't been more T-bones that have happened there. I know there's been 2 or 3 accidents I've seen that have happened. 2 or 3 things I want to highlight concerning that area. One that's not been brought up, and I think this is about the only one I'll mention that hasn't been brought up. That little creek right off of Armstrong Valley that goes through Thompson, that floods often. And when it does rain, and it will, you'll see that come, that floods quite a bit. And they shut down Armstrong Valley Road right there past Salem Landing up to Thompson, where it will come through. When that shuts down, where's all that traffic going to go? Because it can no longer go off Armstrong Valley. They could take it through all the way through the neighborhood where they're proposing. That won't happen. People will still come through the back. It's going to go all the way around Thompson, through North Road, off to the other access. That's going to cause an inordinate amount of traffic and potential accidents. The curves that they're talking about on Thompson Road, when you go down Thompson, there are 2, I won't say 90 degree, but they're between 90 and 110 degree curves that you take to get around towards Rockville. And then there's a couple of others before you get to the access road. Those are sped on often. When you add another, we'll just say lightly and say 150 cars onto that traffic and that road, it's going to cause a huge backup and also a lot of accidents. The risk you're adding onto those roads and to those people that are going to be driving it is going to be massive. So I think this is way too fast to develop without developing Thompson Road and making it wider, which I don't even know how we can necessarily do that without taking land and driving down everybody's home values. The other, and I'm glad you brought up the taxes, I'm very curious to know that since they're doing city pickup here at that access, are we looking at eventually zoning all of that into city, or is it just cordoned off into Salem Landing to where it's going to be city? Are city taxes going to be an issue there? Are we going to stay county? I'd really like to know where that line is going to be drawn.
We definitely will address that at the end of the public hearing. Good question.
Thank you.
Any other?
Good evening. My name is Trent Lever. I live at 2281 Thompson Road. I live in the death curve that everyone is talking about. I want to say thank you to the board for being here and hearing us tonight. I'm sure you'd rather be at home relaxing instead of hearing all of this fuss. But I also want to say thank you to all my neighbors for showing up. I know some of you, but not most of you, and it's kind of sad that it took this for us to all come together. So maybe we can find a way to all get together and celebrate sometime. And I also want to say thank you to Huddleston Steel and Old South. We know that you guys help build our communities, and we want that too, right? So I appreciate everyone who is here. I echo what everyone has said tonight. I can attest to Mr. Williams out fixing his fence many times. I've pulled, I don't know how many people kids out of the curve with the tractor. Our head wall to our culvert gets destroyed all the time. I am the gravel problem. And so I do try to sweep that up. We've thought about trying to concrete the front of it to alleviate that, so we're going to try to do that to make that a little safer. One thing that hasn't been discussed is TDOT just awarded the third extension to New Salem, which goes from roughly the high school down to the section that was finished previously. And, you know, the other section up past interstate or at the interstate is currently being finished. That will coincide with the construction of this development. And that project is not slated to be completed until, I think, 2030. As anyone that's driven on New Salem knows, when that's under construction, it is tough to get through traffic. When that happens on this section of New Salem, you're going to exemplify the problem that everyone is talking about tonight. Everyone is going to divert to Thompson Road just to try to get around the construction. It's going to be a major impact. And so I would just ask the board to consider that as evaluate this proposition. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Robert Collier. I live on 2450 Thompson Road. It's part of a little jut out that's on the map. My question is, from what I understand, is this is a proposed zoning change to allow for more houses to be built in a more dense kind of fashion. What happens if it's not passed? Does that mean that you've got the same amount of space, but you got to have fewer houses in that zoning area? So there'd be less density? So, yeah, I would say I would be against the density of it, and that maybe it shouldn't pass. So that's my comments.
Thank you.
My name is Judy Williams, and I live at 2394 Thompson Road. And if you look at your little thing, the Salem Landing, Section 3, we're that big parcel of land, we own the curve there, and it looks like you're going to put 12 houses behind us, very close behind us, because my property's not that deep, and about 4 beside us. And I want to know what kind of buffer is going to be between us and those houses. Do I need to put up a electric fence and barbed wire to keep people's animals, dogs and children off my property? Once this all goes through, I want to know where they're going to divert that water back there on that property, because that property back behind there does flood. I've lived there for 39 years. I've seen it flooded back there. So what's going to happen with that? How are they going to make the water not come over on us, the people that are going to be affected by those houses?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anyone else would like to speak for or against this application? All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Yes.
As far as annexation goes, by state law, we cannot annex you into the city limits unless you ask to be annexed into the city limits. So all of you that asked the question about, are you going to start having to pay city taxes and things like that, you have no fear on that at all. We cannot annex you unless you ask to be annexed. So that's not even a possibility. So we'll answer that one right out the gate.
Okay. Matthew, I've got several on here. Do you want to try to address the ones that you heard, or do you want me to go start through this list?
Or Richard, actually.
Okay. Okay. All right, so and one of the main topics of conversation was traffic on Thompson Road and North Road. Do we know if there's any improvements planned for those roads? I'm assuming they're county roads and not city roads. And I guess as a part of that question, are we annexing any sections of Thompson Road or North Road that we would, when I say we, the city would have the ability to improve.
Yeah, so this request doesn't have any annexation. What is currently within the city is the property that's shown on the maps. We don't have any right-of-way on Thompson Road at all. That will remain a county road. I do know that we've had some back and forth, as well as the developers had back and forth with the county over improvements. I'm going to defer to Chris to fully answer this question. What our traffic study request that was presented to the city is a four-way stop at Armstrong Valley and what would be Jernigan and Thompson Lane. But I know Mr. McGuire and that team has had some discussions with the county where they have requested other things, and I will defer to him to give the full answer on that.
Real quick, while you're still up there.
Yes, sir.
Armstrong Valley, Thompson Road, or North Road, or any of them on the city's major thoroughfare plan?
I don't believe they are. Is that Mr. Blomley?
I'll pull that up. No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Chris?
Again, Chris McGuire with Huddleston Steel. Just to answer a couple of the questions, I guess I'll just answer y'all's, and if you want me to address additional ones, I can. As far as improvements go, that was probably a short sight on my presentation. We're planning to make 3 improvements to the roadway network. One is to work with the city on getting improvements done at Salem and the main access to Salem Landing. The second is we are proposing to add a turn lane into our development, so that'll help create a way for people turning into the development, waiting for traffic to pass, to not hold up traffic on Thompson Road as much as it does currently today. That was not something required of the traffic study, but it is something that we felt that this commission would like to see, and it's also what the county engineers would wanted to see. So we did agree to do that, and we have also been in discussion with the county on Thompson and Armstrong Valley Road. We are currently hammering out exactly what they would like to see. Geometrically, that's a hard area due to the bridge location relative to that intersection. But I believe the latest talks have been that we are going to try to light that intersection.
But so you mentioned the bridge. Is there any discussion with respects to any changes to that bridge as it stands today?
No, sir. It's a pretty substantial bridge.
Okay.
But also with the additions of our turn lanes, the county oftentimes requires we add a 4-foot shoulder. That's something that Thompson Road does not currently get to enjoy, as a 4-foot shoulder, which is helpful for recovery of vehicles who veer off of the road. They almost always require us provide that 4-foot shoulder along the frontage of developments. And when we do turn lanes, they often require it on both sides. We've not hammered out specific details on that at the moment, but I would anticipate shoulders on at least our side of the development.
Okay. Thank you.
Would you like me to keep answering some of these
Yeah,
others,
that
or
would
have
be
a seat?
great. Yeah,
Okay.
please.
Okay.
Just stay there for a minute.
I'm happy to keep talking. So as far as the density goes, one of the questions was, well, with what it is, why are we asking for more? Something that the city has been asking for a long time is affordable housing. Something that the city needs is affordable housing. We've got a large influx of people coming from out of state that are buying up these larger homes, and our local residents are unable to afford the skyrocketing prices of homes. So affordable housing is something that's been pretty needed for our local communities, and it's often been asked for by the city. As far as that's what helps with the density, is if we get a little more density, then we can do more affordable houses. As far as housing prices go, I believe that we're thinking that they'll probably be in the mid 400s to low 600s.
Okay, all right.
I would agree, affordable has changed over the years. As far as if we kept the current zoning, the difference that they would see in the plan is they would see a road connection, which we currently have, and the reason being is for emergency access vehicles. It's something that the county's going to require, and it's something that's encouraged by the city typically. We want emergency vehicles to have multiple points of ingress and egress to help the local residents, EMS, fire, and also it would probably be about 130 lots. So you'd probably see a reduction in about 60 lots, but going straight zoning, the amenities package would be a mail kiosk. I don't believe straight zoning requires excessive amenities. So it's the trade-off for the extra density is all of the.
But Chris, let me clarify.
Yes, sir.
Bulk zoning, if it's small lot bulk zoning, then it would require amenities under our design guidelines. But RS-15 would not. Our design guidelines would not require amenities.
Correct. Except a mail kiosk.
Yeah. If that's an amenity.
Well, if you cover it and put some picnic tables under it. As far as blasting goes, I spoke with the developer. It's their intention to have pre-blast surveys, and as long as the homeowners will allow them, I mean, they can deny access for those pre-blast surveys, but they do intend on doing pre-blast surveys.
Chris, can you explain what a pre-blast survey is, please?
So a pre-blast survey is where they send someone out to the individual homes and evaluate the foundations and the current conditions of the homes, cracks, breaks, and stuff like that. And if
like
they
a home inspection, kinda.
Exactly,
Yeah.
It's a home inspection, and then as the blasting goes, they do intermittent re-inspections to ensure that they're not creating additional damage. Again, the homeowners can deny this, but that's a typical practice with blasting when you get closer to existing residents, and they do intend to do that.
What do the state laws say about blasting and like the levels you got to read, seismographs? Like, can you go into that a little bit?
I personally cannot. From an engineering
I know
perspective.
seismographs are required, right?
Yes, correct.
And
they
the
are
seismograph company
required
should
to-
set up how many are going to be based on what they're going to be doing.
There are standards on how many seismographs and what
Right.
their appropriate readings are, and
Yep.
I'm sure there's a reporting of that type of study, but I'm just
Yep.
not intimately
Understood.
familiar with
Yep.
it, not being in the construction phase.
Yep.
So as far, one of the people in attendance had mentioned the second outlet. Currently, we're only providing one outlet onto Thompson Road. We're providing the ability, if Thompson Road ever improves, that they could provide another connection if they see fit. But at this time, we're planning for a type A buffer, which is evergreens every 10 feet at the end of a cul-de-sac. So hopefully her concerns regarding the light shine will not be an issue, given that the only people going down that cul-de-sac may be 5 or 6 homes, and it'll have hopefully a well-growing evergreen buffer to keep that light shine down. Also spoke with the developer while we were listening to the public comments, and he has said that he plans on reaching out to the mayor to have a meeting, hopefully with the sheriff's office, to increase presence on Thompson Road to hopefully fix some of your existing issues. Can't promise that we can fix the world, but we can at least reach out and hopefully be a voice for the residents on their existing issue. And I believe that's all I had, but I'm happy to answer any other questions if y'all have any.
So, yeah, there was a couple of others.
Yes, sir.
There was questions about water runoff and flooding in certain areas.
Okay.
Can you address how you and the staff what you have to go through to make sure that that doesn't happen?
Of course. We do extensive modeling when it comes to stormwater. We use 3D modeling software to model pipe networks and inlet capacity analysis. But the largest stormwater mitigation method that we use is stormwater detention ponds. We are proposing 2 stormwater detention ponds with this development. I've already sized them, ran all the hydraulics to give a foot of freeboard over the 100-year storm event, which is a common practice in the city of Murfreesboro. And we have to meet state standards, which state we cannot increase the flow rate onto any other parcel greater than the pre-developed flows. By the time we do stormwater quality, which helps the quality of the water that discharges, most of the time our runoff rates are far lower than pre-developed.
There was a question about the traffic study and the specific date that was supposedly done on, and the fact that there were certain students not there or chose to leave. Can you address that in any fashion or form?
As far as the specific date, they plan it pretty well in advance. I'm not familiar with the May 8th date at all. I was not that was the first I'd heard anyone mention that it may be a substandard date to get counts.
Right. So did your firm perform that, or did somebody else?
No, we hired an independent third party to do the traffic analysis.
Okay.
It's our RG Phillips and Associates.
Okay. I just didn't know if there was any merit in the fact that now what we know, if there should be another traffic study done or not. I guess that's up to the planning department in and of itself to evaluate that.
So we leave those type of decisions to the city's traffic engineer and his review. He did not mention that to us. I don't think he's mentioned it to Mr. Newman either. The concern that we heard out of the city's traffic engineer was in relation to the light on New Salem.
Okay. I think if we have a whole senior class that's not there, logically, the traffic count doesn't sound right that would be accurate. So I think we need to at least ask the question and then make sure that our traffic study is, for the lack of a better term, legit.
Yeah, and I guess we can ask that question of the city's traffic engineer.
All right.
Mr. Donovan, I do have a question concerning traffic, speeding, accident. What is the current speed limit on Thompson?
I do not know that.
35.
Okay.
There's not many speed limit signs posted either.
No, and I've been past several times.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right. There was a question about sidewalks on Thompson Road. I'm assuming that the developer, that's not part of this development, even though it might be adjacent to Thompson Road. Is there any sidewalks planned for Thompson Road?
There are not any sidewalks planned along Thompson Road.
Okay. All right, and I don't know if anybody here can address the issue. Again, this would be a county issue, but the creek on Armstrong Valley Road flooding, and then how you bypass that. I'm just asking the question. So, sir, this public hearing's over, so we're trying to.
Yeah, that would be under the county's jurisdiction. That's within the unincorporated county.
Okay. And then I think we kind of addressed this, Chris, but one more time, can you speak to the buffer? I know you said the evergreen trees, but, you know, what is it? Is it a 20-foot buffer between? Okay.
So I'm going to answer that
Okay.
from the city standpoint. What's required of that buffer is a 10-foot wide evergreen buffer. So what we would expect there is, you know, and you typically see, I think, is some type of arborvitae or something that's going to be green all year round. So that's a typical standard type A buffer that we would see.
Okay. There was a question, and I think I can answer this. It's already been answered, but I want to make it clear. So there was a question that says, what happens if this is not approved? What would the property owner have the right to do? And so it was addressed in Chris's comments, but he or she, whoever owns this property, well, the foundation owns it, I think. Anyway, they would have the right to put 130 houses on this property. And so, as Chris mentioned in his comments, this application would increase that by 60 homes or 60 lots. So I wanted to make sure that everybody was clear on what his comment was. There was a question about animals, whether there's an environmental study. I mean, the city staff can speak to it, but I'm just going to say there's not. That does not happen as part of this process. I get the question, but there's no environmental study associated with how does it affect the deer or whatever that might be on that property. Is that a fair statement? Okay. Question about, and I don't know that we have any control over this whatsoever, but speed bumps on access roads, I'm assuming that that was put there by the county associated with the schools, but I don't know if Mr. Donovan could address that.
So that has come up in the conversations we've had. Those were installed by the school. That is actually on private school board owned property.
Okay. All right.
We're talking about that road, the private road right there behind the
The
school?
speed bumps.
Is that the one you're talking about with the speed bumps? That has the
Getting
speed bumps,
heads shaking, yes.
Okay.
And then what the first speaker talked about, the impact on the schools. You know, what is the interaction? Of course, the middle school and high school are county schools. Of course, this would be a city subdivision. So from a elementary standpoint, let's just talk about that. What are the conversations associated with any development and how it impacts the surrounding schools?
So we communicate our permitting numbers to the, both the city and the county school systems on a monthly basis. So all the permits that our building and codes department issues, we send those to them every month, a list of those to them every month so they can begin to plan for future expansion and how those numbers will affect them. So we also try to make sure to keep dialogue open between our school systems and us to make sure to respond to any questions that they may have regarding new development.
All right. Those are the questions. There was a comment about the timing of this development and TDOT putting a third extension on New Salem. I don't know that there's anything that anybody would have control over with respect to that. I don't know if you want to try to address that question at all.
As far as our development goes, I spoke with the developer. He projects that it could be a 7 to 10 year build out. As far as what the roadway construction along Salem's timeline is, I cannot speak to that. I guess I would defer to TDOT. They're probably the ones who would need to be within that discussion.
Okay. Can you you agree with that statement, or?
I don't have an answer for
Okay,
that.
all right. So those are the questions that I heard. Does the board have any other questions that they would like to address at this point in time with the city or the engineer, or the applicant's engineer? All right, thank you very much. All right, at this time, do any of the board members have any other questions or comments that they would like to discuss about this application?
I'll make a comment.
Yes, sir.
I actually know this area really well. My family owns 326 acres, 1,500 foot from this property or so. So I'm out here quite a bit and have been my whole entire life, so I know it really well. I know everybody doesn't like it to be, hey, Murfreesboro stepping on Rockville and all that, but this area is all in the urban growth boundary of Murfreesboro. My family's farm, at some point in the last 10 or 12 years, has gotten changed from a Rockville address to a Murfreesboro address, although it's not in Murfreesboro city limits, but it had a Rockville zip code from the time my grandfather bought it in the late 50s to about 10, 12 years ago. Then it had a Murfreesboro zip code, and nobody knows why. So I can totally understand, hey, we moved to the country for a reason, but this was in the urban growth boundary of Murfreesboro for growth to come that way. As far as the city's concerned, as her and I are both city council people, we want single-family detached housing, and we want affordable housing. And I know $400,000 doesn't seem affordable, but I see it every day. $400,000 is about entry level for Murfreesboro nowadays. This is what we've wanted to promote, single-family detached housing. They could have brought a townhome project out here and had townhomes all through the area, but trying to get single-family detached, it mixes better with the area. I think this is what the council has kind of said, hey, we want some single-family developments that do promote some kind of affordable housing, and Old South's pretty much the only developer that's building a product like that, a single-family affordable house, and this is a high amenity neighborhood as well. So I'm in support.
Yeah, I think to piggyback that, the density on this project is 2.83, and that's probably half of what we've seen lately at the Planning Commission level. We're seeing a lot of density in the 4s and the 5s and the 6s, and in the downtown area, we're seeing the 10s and the 11 units per acre, so 2.83 units per acre. I know it's not the Rockville that I grew up in. I attended Rockville Elementary and Middle School, so I know it's not the Rockville I grew up in, but this is not, where we sit, this is not an incredibly dense project. And there are a ton of amenities, and we've reviewed the impact on schools, we've reviewed the impact on our services and our police and our fire, and I believe this to be a good project, and I appreciate the developer working with the city and with the planning department on all the requests that have been made and the back and forth, and I think a lot of work has gone into this, and I know there's some frustration with the blasting that's going on at the property on the other side of the high school, but that's not them doing this. And I, myself, and Sean and the mayor, we've been working very closely with that developer. Like anyone else in the group text that they send out when they're going to blast? No. Okay, so there's a group text. Well, I'm going to finish talking, if that's okay. There's a group text, and it has the principal of the school and some of the stakeholders in the community, and they have been very amenable to keeping us posted when they are going to blast, and they have admitted that there are things that they could have done better. The city did not have experience with this developer. They are an out-of-state developer, but that is not the case with Old South. Old South is a local developer. Everybody that's here on the Old South development team, they will have to answer to me if they go out there and act a fools. And they know that. And so I can tell you that these are not new concerns that we're hearing. We've heard these concerns a lot, and we really do hear them. But we need to make sure that Murfreesboro has affordable, good quality homes. And like Sean says, I know $400,000 doesn't sound affordable, but that's the new normal. That's the new normal.
We agree with you, but what about the roads?
Yeah, this is not a dialogue I apologize.
And I appreciate you got,
I get it, but you guys, we're not here to stop the building.
okay, sir,
Yeah, we're-
sit down or step out. I'm sorry.
But you guys don't want to build the roads and support it or do nothing else. I'll give my neighbors.
I'll get Clinton here. Anything else from the planning commission?
Yeah, so any other comments or questions? Is there a motion?
Can I ask one more question to the engineer about the overall timeline? I mean, I know it's, as far as it's multi-phase project, what's kind of assuming it gets full approval, land disturbance permit and all that, what does the build out and the phasing look like? I mean, you're not gonna open up the entire thing and build all houses in a year time, right? I mean, right out of the gates. I mean, what is it gonna look like, staggering them in?
Sir. Again, Chris McGuire with Huddleston Steel. If I could get my screen shared, we've got a general phasing plan. There are currently, let's see if I can make that look better. There we go. So currently they're building in this area right here. It's section 2, phase 2B. It's currently under construction. I believe they've probably got at least another 6 to 8 months out there on
Yep.
just construction, not even starting houses, just getting the infrastructure work done. I would say phase 1, which is this location that I'm circling, it takes us probably about a year to get construction plans approved, and then it might take them another 6 to 8 months.
So assuming it gets approved tonight, you're saying a year before plan, on average, it's probably gonna be a year before you get approved plans?
That's the quickest case scenario, because we've got to go through a preliminary plat process.
Yeah.
And then we have to go through construction plan process, and it takes a good bit of time to get to that level. And phase 1 has a large amount of the stormwater, so it'll be highly scrutinized as far as stormwater goes.
And your plans to develop phase 1, 2, 3, 4 all separately, correct?
Correct, yes. Yeah, it won't be a mass stripping.
Right.
We'll have to individually permit each one through the state and have separate land disturbance permits. The state won't let us just
Open it all up.
cut mass
Yep.
amounts of land. They have limits to how much you can clear at once
Okay.
and keep undisturbed.
Can you go back to what conversations with the county about Thompson Road? I mean, just for clarification, Thompson is county, correct? Not
Correct.
city, right? And the city does not own any right-of-way along Thompson, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So initially we had proposed, again on my screen, we've initially had proposed 2 intersections. One here on the east side, which I'm trying to circle with my mouse, which is remaining. There are plans to be a turn lane and shoulder improvements in this section. It'll meet AASHTO requirements, which is the standard for roadway construction.
Is it just a right turn lane, like when you're coming?
Northbound into
Okay.
property.
Got it.
There'll be a decel or a turn lane.
In the middle
What that'll
lanes
do
right
is
there.
people waiting for the north and the southbound don't have to block the northbound traffic. We had initially had another access on the south side where I'm circling. And as we got looking into deed research, most of the properties went to the center line of road. And so we did not have the right to do expansion on that location. So the county, seeing that we were unable to make improvements on that part of road, requested that we remove that connection. The city asked that we make provisions that when that road is improved, that connection can be made. Now, or you want me to go over the other improvements as well? Or just those 2?
What did you say is going to happen at New Salem? I know you mentioned it.
So at New Salem
Right
and
now?
the
Okay.
existing entrance to the development, we're working with staff right now on how that's going to be worked out financially, but it sounds like through impact fees, a lot of this development is going to pay for a light to be put at least prior to phase 3 or within phase 3 development. And we'll work directly with ROM and city engineers to determine what timing that lighting needs to happen and what mechanisms trigger that light coming in.
Any other questions?
And Mr. Halliburton, I did just want to clarify, to my knowledge, we have not directly corresponded with either the city or the county schools about this particular project. I just wanted to make sure that I was clear in what the information that we provide to city and county schools is a monthly permitting data, which are houses that are closer to being on the horizon. With zoning, for example, this property is zoned RS15. It's been zoned RS15 for 10 years. If we, provided them information about all property that was zoned, it would give them a little bit less of a certain picture of the number of units that were coming down the pike, because zoning is not necessarily an indicator of definite development, especially if it's bulk zone. So I just wanted to clarify the information that we provide to the city and county school systems and when we provide that.
I did want to make one clarification with you. I'm sorry, I just keep thinking of more stuff.
It's okay.
Assuming that it did not get approved and stays RS15, 135 lots, you're still going to have a connection on Thompson no matter what, correct?
Yeah,
It
for
doesn't
emergency
matter.
access vehicles, I mean, the county's going to require it, city engineering is going to require it.
Right. So if we shoot it down tonight, y'all go build 135 lots, there's still going to be a tie-in on Thompson.
I would anticipate, yes, sir.
Okay.
And now I would still anticipate a turn lane, but
Right.
I would still anticipate that access would happen. With growth, it's almost always required, and in the city, I think it's almost always required to tie to stubs, but the county oftentimes requires at least 2 points of ingress egress into developments. This one has a couple to the north, and they would most likely require this so fire and EMS can have quicker access to the south side of this development.
And just to clarify, just to the people in the audience, being bulk zone, we have no control over what house is being built on those lots. They could literally build whatever. It could be vinyl sided, it could be no garage. I mean, it could be just a stripped down house that would maybe affect your property values, where these are higher amenitized, and with a PRD or a PUD, we can control the build quality of the houses. Brian, Reggie, y'all got anything?
Yeah.
Move for approval, subject to all staff comments.
Second.
Ms. Jaco?
Ms. Safelwater?
Aye.
Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Vice Chair Halliburton?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Prince?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
That application passes. Mr. Donovan, we'll move on to the next item, annexation petition and plan of services for approximately 15.9 acres located along Joe B. Jackson Parkway and Butler Drive. City of Murfreesboro, McDonald Associates, and Quick Trip Corporation are the applicants.
Yeah.
We get a recess or anything?
I need a bourbon.
Roll on.
5-minute piss break?
Go ahead, go.
I'm just
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Donovan.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Chair Halliburton. So the application before you is a request by the City of Murfreesboro, along with McDonald and Associates, Quick Trip Corporation, to request an annexation of their properties into the city. They have submitted a proper petition to the city requesting annexation. The city actually currently has a pending purchase contract on a portion of these properties within the study area. The annexation area includes 3 parcels. All 3 parcels are on the north side of Joe B. Jackson Parkway. One of them is split by the realigned portion of Butler Drive. And those 3 properties are all currently vacant. This annexation does not include any additional right-of-way into the city of Murfreesboro. If you'll remember, it's been a few months, but along with another annexation to the north, the city annexed the portions of future Butler Drive that weren't within the city limits. So the total annexation area is approximately 15.9 acres. This application, or this petition for annexation, is also accompanied by a companion rezoning request, or rezoning request that will be the next item that we discussed, to zone the property CH, GI, general industrial, and HI, heavy industrial. So the rezoning will enable the heavy industrial zoned land to be utilized for the city's solid waste station, transfer station, the commercial development at the intersection of Butler Driveway and Joe B. Jackson Parkway, and then the GI, or general industrial, will be similarly zoned to adjacent properties in the area. So the annexation study area is within the city's urban growth boundary. The study area is also contiguous to the existing city limits of Murfreesboro, and it is within our service infill line. So staff has worked with other city departments to draft a plan of service, which a copy of it was included in your agenda packet, and details how the property, if annexed, will be served. So due to its close proximity to the city limits, it will be relatively easy to extend services to the subject property, with the lone exception being sanitary sewer. So the properties that are currently seeking annexation currently don't have access to sewer. They'll have a few options, as what our Murfreesboro Water Resources has indicated with us. As a part of the Butler Road realignment, there is a force main that's being extended along the realigned segment of Butler Drive, and also there's development taking place further to the south, which will be served by gravity sewer. So there will be options here. They will need to coordinate with those other developments to provide sewer to these properties. Staff is supportive of this annexation request for the following reasons. The subject property is contiguous to the city limits. It is located within the city's urban growth boundary and service infill area, and services can be extended to the property upon annexation. Planning Commission will need to conduct a public hearing on this matter, and after make a recommendation to City Council.
All right. Any questions before we open the public hearing for Mr. Donovan?
No, sir.
All right. Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing. Anyone that would like to speak for or against this annexation petition? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Any questions, comments, or motions associated with this application?
Move for approval.
Second.
That's subject to all staff comments.
Subject to all staff
Absolutely.
comments.
Second again.
Ms. Ava Waters?
Aye.
Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Vice Chair Halliburton?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Prince?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
That application passes. Our next application for a public hearing is the companion zoning application for approximately 15.9 acres located along Joe B. Jackson Parkway and Butler Drive to be zoned HI, GI, and CH simultaneous with the annexation. City of Murfreesboro, McDonald Associates, and Quick Trip Corporation are the applicants. Mr. Donovan.
Thank you, Vice Chair Halliburton. So the applicants, the City of Murfreesboro, McDonald and Associates, and Quick Trip Corporation are submitting a companion rezoning request to rezone these properties to commercial highway, general industrial, and heavy industrial within the city. This currently includes the same three properties that we discussed in the annexation request, and they are all vacant. Multiple pieces of this property actually has an end user in mind. The HI portion that is being rezoned with annexation is intended to be used with the city's solid waste facility, or solid waste transfer station facility. The blue area is the portion that Quick Trip controls. That's intended to eventually have a convenience store with gas pumps, with fuel pumps in mind on that side. And the third GI portion doesn't have a current end user in mind. So the adjacent land uses to this property, the subject property itself is zoned light industrial within the unincorporated county, and the surrounding area consists of a mixture of commercial and industrial uses and zoning types. So the property to the north that is already in the city and part of the city's transfer station facility, or future transfer station facility, is zoned HI, which is heavy industrial. Then to the east, across the interstate, there's a retail center and a subway that is zoned commercial highway. Then to the south is zoned general industrial. It's the future Buc-ee site. And then there's also some vacant land that's zoned general industrial to the south as well. To the west is vacant general industrial land and some RS-15 residential as well. The city's future land use plan identifies this area as business innovation, which aims to promote economic growth, vibrant streets, diverse transportation options, and environmental sustainability for organized large-scale projects and to create an appealing environment for business investment. So what the development type that's looking for here is industrial manufacturing parts, research and development centers, as well as office space and commercial. The CH, GI, and HI zoning districts are consistent with that business innovation land use designation and allow a variety of industrial and commercial uses by right. So the portion of the property that is to be bulk zone CH is where the proposed convenience store and gas pumps would be. It allows that use by right, but also allows a variety of other retail and office and medical uses. I included a chart that shows that highlights all of the allowed uses in your packet for your review. The GI portion, which is the 2.9 acres that is on the west side of Butler Drive, and doesn't currently have an end user in mind, would permit a variety of light and medium intensity industrial uses, as well as some office, commercial, and retail uses as well. And then the heavy industrial site, which is intended to be used for the city's transfer station property, or as part of the city's transfer station project, and is zoned HI, would permit that use by right. It also allows a wide variety of industrial uses, retail, office, and some commercial as well. And all of the allowed uses were included and highlighted in the use table in your packet. Staff is supportive of this rezoning request for the following reasons. The proposed CH, GI, and HI zoning aligns with the Murfreesboro 2035 Comprehensive Plan Business Innovation designation, promoting economic growth in a mix of industrial and commercial uses. The site's proximity to major transportation routes and its adjacency to commercial and industrial areas make it an ideal location for proposed uses, including the city's transfer station and the Quick Trip convenience store. The rezoning will facilitate new commercial and industrial development, attracting businesses and create opportunities for economic growth in the region. And 4, the proposed zoning is consistent with adjacent properties, which include a mix of industrial and commercial zones, ensuring cohesive development in the area. The Plan Commission will need to conduct a public hearing on this matter and formulate a recommendation for City Council.
And Mr. Halliburton, I do believe that we have some of the city's co-applicants in the audience. If there are any representatives from McDonald Associates and Quick Trip, if they could briefly come to the podium and state their name, just so that we have you on the record as being in attendance.
Good evening. Andy Bobo from McDonald Associates.
Oh, you sat through all that. Oh, that's a trooper.
Good evening. My name is J.D. Dudley, and I'm a real estate manager for Quick Trip.
Thank you.
All right. Any questions before we open the public hearing for the applicant and/or Mr. Donovan? Seeing none, we'll open up the public hearing. Anyone would like to speak for or against this application? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and open up for any other discussion or a motion.
Motion to approve, subject to all staff comments.
Second.
Ms. Jaco?
Ms. Abelwater?
Aye.
Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Vice Chair Halliburton?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Prince?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
That application is passed. We'll move on to staff reports and other business. The first item under that category is the Gardens of Three Rivers re-subdivision of lots 103 and 130, final plat for 6 lots on .62 acres zone PRD located along Eldon Creek Drive and Ashbrook Court. Patterson Company LLC is the developer. Mr. Barbie, good evening.
Good evening, Vice Chair Halliburton and Planning Commission members. The next item I've got for you tonight is a final plat re-subdividing lots 100 and 130 of Gardens of Three River. This would typically be on a consent agenda at a day meeting. However, the applicant before us, or the applicant of this submittal, has a closing, and we're trying to help accommodate them by bringing this here to you tonight. What they're doing with this plat is taking 2 existing lots and subdividing them into 6 lots. This is for single-family attached townhomes, and they will be shooting the property lines along the dividing walls of those units. The application is generally in good order. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer those for you, and staff would recommend approval subject to all staff comments.
Any questions for Mr. Barbie?
If there are none, I move for approval, subject to all staff comments.
Second.
Ms. Jaco?
Ms. Abelwater?
Abstain.
Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Vice Chair Halliburton?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Prince?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
All right, that application passes. The next one is a mandatory referral to consider the dedication of an electric easement on city-owned property along Veterans Parkway. Middle Tennessee Electric is the applicant. Ms. Sloan Lewis, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good.
Good evening. In this mandatory referral, the Planning Commission is being asked to consider the dedication of an electric easement for Middle Tennessee Electric on property that the city owns on Veterans Parkway for a proposed electrical infrastructure upgrade from Highway 96 to Blackman Road. According to MTE, the purpose of this upgrade is to keep up with the heavy growth and electrical demand in the area. This electrical easement will serve the city-owned property designated for the Veterans Park development. An exhibit depicting the location of the proposed power line and easement is included in the agenda materials. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval of this request to the City Council subject to the following 2 conditions. Condition 1, if approved by City Council, Middle Tennessee Electric will be responsible for providing the information necessary, including but not limited to any exhibits and legal descriptions, for the legal department to prepare legal instruments to formally dedicate the proposed easement in question. The legal instruments will be subject to final review and approval of the legal department. And condition 2, Middle Tennessee Electric will also be responsible for recording these instruments, including payment of the recording fee.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Lewis from the board?
If there are none, I'll move for approval.
Second.
Ms. Jaco?
Ms. Abelwater?
Aye.
Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Vice Chair Halliburton?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Prince?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
That mandatory referral is approved. Man, I didn't realize you were part of the presentation tonight, so.
With a beard and everything.
Yeah. All right, mandatory referral to consider the dedication of a temporary construction easement on city-owned property located along North Thompson Lane, City of Murfreesboro is the applicant, Mr. Ives.
Thank you, Vice Chair, Mr. Halliburton.
Yes, sir.
This is for the future construction of the improvements to Thompson Lane across the north part of our city. In the past, I believe we have donated some right-of-way off of this property to TDOT, and also, if I remember correctly, an easement to Atmos Gas so they could relocate some facilities. And TDOT is now requesting a temporary construction easement across a portion of our the Greenway trail entrance there off Thompson Lane. This, if approved and if approved by council, then we will execute a donation form that the mayor will sign, and then the actual easement document will be prepared by TDOT and their attorneys. Ask your approval of this so we can support the future reconstruction of Thompson Lane, which I know we're all desperate to have completed.
Yes, sir. All right, any questions for Mr. Ives regarding this application?
No, and I would it'd be an honor to make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second that motion.
Ms. Jacob?
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Vice Chair Halliburton?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Prince?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Thank you.
Good to see you, sir. Our next item is a mandatory referral to consider the acquisition of property located along Caroline Farms Drive. The City of Murfreesboro Administration Department is the applicant.
Yes, I'll present these for the administration department.
What is that?
What is what?
The administration department.
City manager's office.
All right, there you go. Okay.
I'm presenting these on behalf of Mr. Huddleston.
Okay, all right.
So there are two pieces of property, two common areas in the Caroline Farms subdivision along West Thompson Lane. And the city proposes to acquire these properties from the Homeowners Association of the Caroline Farms subdivision. The first is the stormwater management area, which contains stormwater management features and wetlands, and it will be transferred to the city to supplement additional preserved and enhanced wetland areas for the city. And then also, there is the mail kiosk area. See the little parking area that I have on the screen where the mail kiosk is located. There's proposed to be a greenway trail directly to the rear of that of that common area, and the city's acquisition of this common area will help facilitate access to that proposed greenway. The actual improvements within both of these common areas, the city will work out an agreement with the Homeowners Association where they will retain maintenance responsibilities for any of those subdivision improvements. So we would recommend that the Planning Commission recommend approval of this mandatory referral to the City Council. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Blomley?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Jaco?
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Vice Chair Halliburton?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Prince?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
That application passes. The next item on our agenda is a mandatory referral to consider the acquisition of 4 parcels located at the intersection of Northwest Broad Street and South Front Street. The City of Murfreesboro Administration Department is the applicant. Mr. Blomley, I like that.
Glad I could bring something new to you, Mr. Halliburton. So this is the second property acquisition mandatory referral that we've got this evening. I think this actually went before the City Council at the last meeting, so we're bringing this before you tonight kind of retroactively. This is for the acquisition of the 4 Ransom Trust properties located at the southwest corner of the intersection of Northwest Broad Street and South Front Street. This intersection of Front, Broad, and Vine, there are some proposed improvements to this intersection which will improve safety and access, and the city contacted the property owner, the Ransom Trust, about acquiring 1 or 2 for those improvements, and the Ransom Trust said, we would really prefer that you acquire all 4 of these properties, and so the city manager's office has entered into negotiations to acquire all 4 of those properties. There are several existing businesses on this property with varying lease terms, and our city manager's office will work with, if they do acquire this property, will work with the current leaseholders to allow them to be in their buildings through the duration of their leases, I believe is my understanding. But the acquisition of this property will greatly assist the city in making the intersection improvements at this location, and staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval of this mandatory referral to the City Council. Be happy to answer any questions.
That we already voted on.
I believe you did, so.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Safelwater?
Aye.
Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Vice Chair Halliburton?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Prince?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
As I always say, a belts and suspenders approach is never a bad thing. Mr. Halliburton's heard me say that for years and years and years.
All right, any other business to be brought before this board tonight?
Yes, I have been requested to do this at both the beginning and end of the meeting. If anybody watching could go to our website, either the city's website, murfreesborotn.gov, where you'll see a pop-up to complete the special census, or murfreesborocensus.com, and complete our special census. As I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, it will assist us in getting an accurate count of the number of people who live in the city, which will in turn assist the city with getting its fair share of state allocated per capita funds, which will help with various improvements that that the city can use it for: road improvements, recreation, public safety, however the city council allocates that, but it will be extra money in our budget to make improvements for our citizens. And so if there are any questions about the special census or about how to complete it, folks should call our department at 615-893-6441, and we'll be happy to help them. The main goal is just to get an accurate count.
Thank you, Mr. Blomley. I'm assuming that's all of business for this evening.
I can't speak for Mr. Ives, but
I have no other business.
I was going to say I can. We're adjourned.